What's up, everybody? Welcome to a new video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about transitions and conjunctions. And before we delve into this, I want to make sure that you've subscribed to the channel and you've turned on the notification bell. If you haven't done so yet, please make sure you do that because, that's how you get notified of new videos. So that's the good thing out of it. Okay. As always, the presentation that we're seeing wasn't prepared by me. I found it online and I put the link down below. So again, today we're talking about transitions and conjunctions. So let's actually get started. All right. So, before we do that, let me say this. It keeps kicking me out, you guys. It keeps kicking me out. There we are. All right. Okay. So transitions and conjunctions. Who would you like to bake, or who would you hire to bake a cake for your birthday? Okay. Would it be the construction worker or would it be the baker? Clearly, it would be the baker, right? Because that's their job. Again, who would you hire to fix your car? A mechanic or a clown? Obviously, the answer is the mechanic. So, when we are talking about conjunctions, just like in professions, each person is trained, or each professional is trained to do a specific job. So if you hire the wrong person for the wrong job, or the person for the wrong job, right, they will not do what you want them to do, or the job would not get done. Same thing with transition words. Okay. So transition words have a specific job. Each one of them connects the ideas of the sentence in a way that guides it towards a certain idea, okay, towards a certain end of an idea, an understanding, so that the sentence actually makes sense. So they connect ideas, help sentence flow, and guide your readers from one thought to another in your paper or in your writing or even in your speech, right? Because we do use the same transition words in speech as well. Now, this slide, if I were you, I would pause, take a screenshot or pause and actually write what is on this slide because it's pretty important information. All right, so we said that the transitions have jobs. What are these jobs? How do you know which industry they work in? Well, you have charts like these. For words that are transitional words that are imply addition, you have words like further, furthermore, moreover, in addition, additionally, then, also, to, besides, again, right? These also all add to an idea. They have a certain idea and they add to it. There's more information that is coming along, right? So that is the job. When you want to say something additive, these are the kind of words that you would use. Now, again, these lists aren't very comprehensive, like they don't encompass everything, but they are pretty comprehensive. So they do have a lot of different words within them, right? When you're comparing something, you use words, transitional words like similarly, comparable, likewise, as with, equally, just as, similar to, like, again. So you see in these categories, in each of these categories, we see the job function of each of these transitional words. So you wouldn't hire a baker, a construction worker to make a cake for you when you're trying to compare and contrast something, or compare something. You wouldn't say in addition to. Okay. So unless you're listing the benefits of it, right? So you can say, so let's say I'm comparing and contrasting to these two books that I have right here. So I have these two books over here, and I want to compare this one with this one. I can say this one is the brown and blue one is smaller, and furthermore, it also has bigger font size. Okay, it's bigger letters. So furthermore adds to that idea. Okay. when in regards to this particular book, when we're describing it by itself. But if I'm saying, okay, well, these two books they are both books, and I want to compare both of them. So I can say the brown book and the blue book are similar. They have a lot of things in common. Similarly, they also have the same font size on both of them. Okay. So font size is the size of the letters in the book. Cool. So when I want to do additional information, I can say, furthermore, the font size is relatively big. Or if I want to compare them, I can say, similarly, they both have the same font size. If I'm contrasting, I can say, however, the bigger book has a smaller font size than the smaller book. Okay, so when we're talking about time, we have different words. When we're talking about results, summaries, examples, places, these are all things that you want to look at them as if they are job functions, and each one of these jobs is a category or an industry that does something specific. So there's an industry that does addition, comparison, contrast, time, result, summary, example, and place. Each one of them does a certain function in a conversation. And for most of these, you can use them, you can use any of these words to replace the other one. Okay. So in the example ones, I can say, for example, I can say for instance, and it wouldn't matter, right? It wouldn't matter which one I use because the function or the job is the same. So just like you can have a bakery, two bakeries that make cake, one can be a little bit sweeter than the other, even though they're both chocolate cake. In this case as well, you can swap them and there will be very minute differences if there are any. I hope that makes sense. If you didn't, please make sure to ask any questions that you have down in the comment box below, or if you're taking any of my classes, talk to me. I am here to help. Okay. So if your sentence, or if you use the wrong transition word for the job, the sentence doesn't make sense. Let's take a look at this one. First, she went to the shoe store. However, she put tasty treats in her cart. Finally, she paid for her food. However, let's go back to that category. However is a contrast. Here, we're not saying that there's anything contradictory. We're saying that in addition to her going to the food store, she also put tasty treats in her cart. So, or then, or after, she went to the store. So we can't use one that contrasts. We have to use one that is additional. Besides, or to, or also. Additionally, first she went to the store, then I don't know why I kept on saying shoe. I think I said shoe a few times. First she went to the store, then she put tasty treats in her cart. Or we can say additionally she put tasty treats in her cart. Also can also work here. Finally, she paid for her food. So this is what we mean by don't use the transition that isn't doing the right job. However, here is comparing or contrasting. For us, that's not what we want in the sentence. It doesn't make sense to use however. Okay. So if you don't use transition words, your idea won't be connected and your writing won't flow. Don't just use them at the beginning of your paragraphs, but use them throughout to connect ideas. So it's not, a lot of times we find when you're writing an essay or when you're writing a long piece of writing, you have to move from one paragraph to the other. That move is a transition between ideas. So we use transitional words. But these transitional words aren't the only things that should go at the beginning of the sentence. There are other things, they shouldn't just go at the beginning of the sentence. There are other places where these words can go. And that is throughout the sentences as well. So let's take a look at this example, which says, John likes to eat pie, but he doesn't want to gain weight. He runs in the afternoon when it's nice outside. Sometimes it rains. He has to work late on Fridays. He has gained weight. He joined a gym. He can't eat all the pie he wants. Sorry guys, I don't have my glasses, so I'm trying to focus my eyes on the screen, and the screen is a little bit further away. So that's for that one. All right, so back to what we're saying. So how do we add in or incorporate ideas or incorporate transitional words? Well, if you look at the example we just have, it's very stiff. It's almost as if like it's cut, 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 and there's no connection between all these things. Well, transitional words or transitions, they connect the sentence as if it's very easy to move to rather than cut, 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 right? So here's the example. First of all, John likes to eat pie, but doesn't John likes to eat pie, but doesn't want to gain weight. Therefore, he runs in the afternoon when it's nice outside. So it's telling us that as a result of, okay? However, it's been raining a lot, which means that he couldn't run. So there's a contradiction, like, wait a minute, something happened. So however, it rains a lot. In addition, he has to work late on Fridays. Consequently, he has gained weight. As a result, he joined a gym. Now he can eat all the pie he wants. Okay. So in the second example, we see almost it's easy to read. It's something that makes sense. Whereas in the first one, you have to stop a lot. Even I, as I was trying kind of to focus my eyes as well, but even I had to stop, like, okay, it's very harsh. It's a very harsh ideas that aren't very much connected, or at least we don't know the kind of connection. Whereas in the second example, the connection is clear. The one game, like one aim of his is that he likes to eat pie. That's something, but then as a result of that, what happens? Well, he runs in the afternoon so that he can eat all the pie. But it's been raining. So these transitional words kind of help us tell a story. Whereas the first example just gives us the detail, but no story involved. And if there's no story, it's a lot harder to follow. Feel free to pause and do these exercises if you'd want, but I'm going to move past that. All right. So then we have subordinate conjunctions, and this should be relatively a reminder or a review for a lot of you guys who are watching this particular video. But subordinate conjunctions, they connect a compound sentence. So things like when, since, because, if, while, who, that, even though, which, as, although, whenever, until, unless, and in case. Okay. So conjunctions, they also have a job. If you use the wrong conjunction for the job, the sentence doesn't really make sense. Okay. So while his mom was in the store, he listened to music. Even though his mom was at the store, he listened to music. The first one makes sense. The second one doesn't, because even though means that this is happening, but despite the fact that this is happening, something else is going on at the same time. However, listening to music and his mom going to the store don't really have a relation, which means that it's a time issue in this case. Okay. So we use a comma to separate. So again, this is used for compound sentences. And as you know, or as if you're not sure, make sure to watch the other videos on sentences. But we use commas to separate an independent and a dependent clause when the subordinate conjunction comes at the beginning of the sentence. So when I wake up, that's a dependent clause because it doesn't stand by itself, because it has a subordinate conjunction. That's what makes it subordinate, less than, right? Weaker, if you want to play that way. And I like to eat breakfast is an independent clause because it can stand by itself. And so there's no subordinate conjunction, doesn't make it any weaker. Okay. I like to eat breakfast when I wake up. The subordinating conjunction is not at the beginning of the sentence, and so neither is the comma. So there is no comma if the subordinating conjunction or the subordinating clause or independent or dependent clause, if you want to call it that, is not at the beginning. At the end, it's at the end of the sentence. Okay. Again, you can pause and review this or try to do this, and but I am going to continue. Okay. So write the coordinate conjunction on the back of your foldables or in the notes. That is not what we want to do. However, let's talk about fanboys. Again, the second two, I'm kind of going the coordinating conjunctions and the fanboys, or the subordinate conjunctions. These are reviews, so I'm kind of going through them a little bit faster, but they are part of these connectors that we're using. Fanboys, for, and, nor, but, or, yet, or so. This is what it stands for. For fanboys is an acronym. Okay, each letter represents a word. These words are for, and, nor, but, or, yet, or so. You use a comma only if the part of the sentence after the coordinating conjunction is an independent clause. In other words, it's a complete sentence. If we have a complete sentence, and we're using a coordinating conjunction, like the fanboys, like I like to eat apples and I like to eat bananas, then we would put a comma between before and. However, if I'm saying I like to eat apples and bananas, then it's not, there's no comma, because in this case, it's not an independent sentence that follows the fanboys. Okay. I like cats, but I love dogs even more. Okay. So there should be a comma before, but, because I love dogs even more is a complete sentence that can stand on its own. I like cats, but not dogs. There is no comma because it's not an independent clause. Okay. All right. So you can do this exercise again by yourself. However, this is it for this video. All right. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Again, there are videos on coordinating conjunctions and subordinate conjunctions, so please make sure to watch these videos. But as for the transitional words, that was the main topic of our video today, so please make sure you know that. If you have any questions, ask. If there was something that wasn't clear, please let me know, and I will be with you in the next video. Bye for now. I'll see you later.